Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be making a video on what if Tulsi Gabbard decided to run as an independent, how would the election shift? Anyway guys, if you see, my dad is in a meeting right now, so I have to, keep it silent a little bit, but I'm sorry guys about the volume issue. If you need to turn it up, please do so, and I'll try to get it fixed next time. Anyway, let's get into the video without any further ado. And guys, thank you guys so much for getting me to past 70 subscribers. We're at 73 right now, and we gained 13 in like the last couple of weeks. And let me tell you guys what it's all fueled by. This video. 1,760. Honestly guys, that's unbelievable for my channel. I don't think I would have expected that, so guys, thank you so much for that. Anyway, let's just get into the video. So, let's look at Joe Biden's likely safe states. I think California will still be safe. I think Gabbard would do relatively well in the state of California. I think she'll finish second ahead of Trump, but again, I think California is a state. We're not going to do margins, but we're not going to do margins because I feel like that'll take a long time, so I want to keep it short. So yeah, so I think California will stay in the Democratic column. And I think the same thing could be said for Oregon, even though I think Tulsi would take a good amount of the vote. But, I mean, she's not a Bernie Sanders like progressive, so I feel like Oregon would stay with the president. And Washington, for that matter, I think would stay with the president as well. I feel like those progressives who might have supported Gabbard may not be inclined to support her. Alaska, I think, will definitely go to Trump. I think Trump will definitely win here by a safe margin. I think it's even fair to say that it will be Trump, then Gabbard, then Biden. Well, and so I feel like Gabbard would be the runner-up in Alaska. Hawaii, I think, would be easy. I think Hawaii is her home state, so I think she'd get that. Now, Arizona. This is a pretty weird state because Arizona has a lot of independents, and if Gabbard could get a lot of those independent voters who don't like, and plus we do know a lot of independents do not like either of the two, so I feel like Gabbard could play outsider and be like, I'm the voice of independence, so I feel like Gabbard taking advantage of Arizona's independent status. I think she could take Arizona, although I think, it will be an uphill battle for her though. Because when you have two ingrained parties, we're so naturally inclined to vote for Trump or for Biden. But I think Gabbard, being, somebody who affiliated with the Democratic Party before and left, well, technically didn't, but kind of seen as an outlier in the party. I think she'd do pretty well with independence. However, on the same note, I think much of these four will go easily for Trump. Same for North and South Dakota, and I think all of Nebraska will go to Trump when you have Gabbard peeling off suburban support that Biden enjoyed historically in 2020. A lot of these states will shift to the right. In Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, where all can reasonably say will go to Donald Trump. Nevada, I think Nevada will probably go to Trump in this scenario because I think Gabbard would take enough of the vote to cause a split, in the party. So I think Trump would probably take Nevada by about maybe 10 points. Because if Gabbard's getting like 15-20% of the vote, then and it's mostly going to be like the more conservative liberal Republicans voting for her. So when you have that, that might hurt Joe Biden. Colorado and New Mexico will probably come back to, but definitely, the central states will easily go for President Trump. They'll easily go for Trump in Wisconsin, Minnesota will all easily go for the president. Because Gabbard takes off a lot of the vote. Although I think a lot of those Democrats, that flocked to Trump, a lot of them were Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard who were moderate, but were angered by the political system. So I think Gabbard would do reasonably well in the central part of the country. And Florida, I think Trump will definitely take Florida for sure. And then Georgia, I could see Trump taking it out of vote splitting. And South Carolina, North Carolina would easily go for the president, former president. However, I think DC will stay with Joe Biden. It's the most liberal state in the nation. Gabbard taking 25% of the vote doesn't matter in this scenario. Maryland, I will think still easily go to Joe Biden, but I think, and this might be a controversial one, but I think Delaware will probably stay with the president. It's his home state, so hey, he has the advantage there. New Jersey, this one is a really tough one because kind of like Delaware, it's very similar in politics. Politics wise, New Jersey's almost as liberal, just maybe slightly more conservative than Delaware. But again, New Jersey has a lot of Asian population, and Tulsi Gabbard kind of having an Asian religion, Hinduism, might really kind of play out well in a state like New Jersey, which has the third largest Asian population by percent in the nation. So she could take it. Plus, New Jersey has a lot of independence. But again, I feel I think Gabbard would do really well in the state. So thus, I think Trump would take it. And if as so does New Jersey, so does Pennsylvania and Michigan and Virginia will all go. Although I think I have my doubts about Virginia because I think Virginia you have a lot of military veterans there, and I think Gabbard, being a former veteran herself, would do really well with those veteran voters. With military voters, she'd do pretty well with them. But again, you know, she'd take more votes from the Democrats than the Republicans, although I think she'd take a good amount of votes from both parties. New York. New York, very liberal, so I think it'll stay with Biden. Same with Connecticut and Rhode Island. These are really educated states, really wealthy states too. They're really wealthy. They all went to Biden by like over 20 points. So it probably won't make much of a difference. Massachusetts, same thing in Vermont. If Gabbard maintained her progressive roots, she could probably get Vermont. But again, Vermont very left leaning, in its politics. It really likes socialists or so-called socialists. I mean, Bernie's not exactly a socialist. So we have New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire would Tulsi would probably could take New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a state that she launched her campaign and spent majority of her campaign and really popular up there. And New Hampshire is the most independent state in the nation. Where most of its voters are independents. So if she can get out those voters, then I think she can definitely take New Hampshire, albeit narrowly. And I think she'd probably take all of Maine, except maybe the second district she'd take. She'd lose to Trump in the second district, but I think Gabbard overall would do really well in the state of Maine. Maine has a tendency to elect independent politicians, as we see with Angus King, who is the independent senator from the state of Maine. So I feel like Maine is an example of multi-party democracy in America. So I think if we can follow the Maine model, I think our democracy would be much, much more representative of us. So this leaves us down to 3 states: Illinois, Colorado, and New Mexico. Illinois. This one's tough because Illinois went to the president by about 17 points. So if Gabbard gets like 12, 13% of the vote, it's gonna hurt Biden, but again, I think Chicago and its suburbs will be enough to save the president in the state of Illinois. So Illinois would probably go to Joe Biden. But I think New Mexico might flip to Trump because New Mexico has a lot of oil workers, and then if you have Gabbard taking a good amount of the vote, and plus Biden's already hurt by his oil policies, so that's not going to bode well in a state like New Mexico, which is very oil dependent, so Trump could probably snoop in and take it. In Colorado, probably I think Gabbard would take it over a lot of millennials, a lot of, independents in the state of Colorado as well. So that wraps up my prediction. So Trump wins decisively, 344 to 162 to 32. Anyway, guys, I hope you agree with this prediction. If you don't, tell me why you don't, and let's keep gaining subscribers. Let's get them on. Let's get them going. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.